Hello and welcome back to the Canon Factory, an elegant podcast for a more civilized age. I'm your host, Sean, and I'm joined by...
Matt.
This is Richie.
Brennan.
Ike.
And Adam.
And we are here exactly 1 month away from The Last Jedi.
Woo!
We just finished the Clone Wars. We're moving on to the great show of Rebels and our 100 Days of Star Wars calendar. If you're still, if you weren't with us for the first couple of 75 days, hop in now, watch Rebels if you haven't yet because it's fantastic. It's a really great show. But guys, did you enjoy Clone Wars? Was it a great journey so far?
Yeah, I watched it like 3 months ago, so watching it again was kind of awesome. But
okay,
yeah,
word.
I think that it made my viewing of
Revenge of the Sith.
Yes,
Completely agree.
completely
Yeah.
way better. Yeah, I think it
time.
really made it
Well,
added a lot of value.
I'd say yes and no because I like animated Anakin way better than.
Yeah, I do too.
I
Revenge of the
do
Sith.
too.
But it did. I think I like animated Anakin a lot better. But I think it made Hayden Christensen's Anakin better.
It did.
Yeah, I agree.
His character
I
made way
I
more
think I
sense.
100% agree with that.
Word. Well, this has not been a short week for news, so we're going to hop into all of the things that are happening with Star Wars. First things first, which is the hot topic of the internet and kind of going to mainstream media right now, is EA's Star Wars Battlefront II, which has taken...
Pooped the big one.
Yeah, it's taken a
Dropped
metaphorical
an egg.
dump on the entire Star Wars fan base.
Metaphorical? I don't know if that's metaphorical.
They literally.
I feel literally crapped on.
Let me get you a napkin, bro.
Essentially, for those of you guys who don't entirely know what's happening, Battlefront 2, new Star Wars game coming out this Friday, and it's kind of they didn't say this at first, but now it's kind of being revealed to being essentially a mobile game or a pay-to-win game where you can.
Yeah, I mean it's not.
It's worse than a mobile game because it's not free to download. You got to pay $60.
Right, you got to pay $60 up front,
over.
and then you can pay to win. So you can buy these crates, these loot crates, or as people are calling them, gamble crates, because it's kind of encouraging gambling because you can buy them and see what you get, and kind of get addicted to that to pay in order to win. Richie, go ahead.
Yeah, to say the least, we are all kind of pissed about this.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, for me, I've been out of gaming for like a decade, and I see Battlefront 2 coming in, and it's like making me want to buy a PS4 so I can just play Battlefront 2, and now I've decided against it.
Yep, hear that, Sony? You lost a sale because of EA. How great are they for the video game industry?
I'm not going to pay $60 for a game and then have to pay more.
Someone
just
did
to
the
unlock.
math, and essentially to unlock everything in the game, which is
first
characters.
off,
so
according to the devs, the numbers aren't correct. But
according to the devs, they like to change a lot of things and
that's
lie.
true.
So we'll take their words with a grain of salt.
Right.
So according to somebody who's done the math, which may or may not be right, as Brandon's saying, but roughly you're going to have to spend either $2,100 to unlock everything or roughly 4,500 hours of gameplay, which...
How many years is that?
Oh, boy, I'll tell you.
It's like if you play. It's like if you play 2 hours every single day for 6 years.
Divided by 24.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, that's
it's 187 days straight.
187 days of gameplay.
Oh wait, that's 450, I think.
To unlock everything.
24-hour days.
Divided by 24.
Yes.
Yeah, 187 and a half 24-hour days.
Straight.
To unlock everything.
Yeah, good luck. I've never played a game that much in my life.
No.
Brennan could do it, but I think it would take him like twice as long.
Well,
There's people that were saying...
If I didn't want to have a wife or my children, maybe, but...
you were saying...
I think my wife might have a little bit of problem with that. I said, hey, babe, I'm going to quit my job and play video games for 180 straight days.
Let's say you play 2 hours a day.
Maybe monetize it a little bit.
If you play 2 hours a day, that's 2,250 days.
It's like 6 years.
That's a little over 6 years.
Yeah.
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
It's unprecedented.
There was guys saying...
Brennan, you didn't even use a calculator, did you?
World of Warcraft, 9 years.
Brennan, our resident
Rain
savant.
Man.
World of Warcraft 9 years. They don't have that many
Right.
hours.
And I mean, it's not even like it's just like you're unlocking like things that make you look cool or hats or whatever.
I don't believe that for a second. If you play World of Warcraft for 9 years, you don't have that many hours?
Yeah, I mean, how long have you played League of Legends? Adam plays a lot of League of Legends.
Here about maybe at least 600, 700 hours.
And how many years have you been playing it?
About 3 now.
3 years, and he's not even a quarter of the way there.
Yeah,
it's possible.
It's unprecedented.
So
yeah.
I mean, and if you even if you just want to unlock the characters, it'll take you roughly 40 hours of gameplay to unlock Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. Which it's like they've been marketing this game for so long, showing off Darth Vader, showing off Luke, and like these cool things that you're going to play. You're going to play 80 hours to play with both of them.
Right. Well, nobody's going to do that. They want you to pay for it.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly it. They want you to pay for it. It's this pay, like this nickel and dime where they try to get in our good graces with saying it's free DLC. But what wasn't free is the game itself.
Right.
And
also the DLC is like, let's release 80% of the game, and then the 20% we'll just label as DLC. And
correct.
It's just marketing.
It's an early access game essentially.
Right. Not to be an old man,
all right,
but back in the day, pod racing for the 64.
Oh my gosh!
You buy
Top
the game, you get the whole game. You don't have to pay more to unlock. Sebulba.
You had
or
to put in
Anakin.
the cheat codes to get the rest of them.
Yeah,
I mean, you still had to unlock people.
No, well,
that's
you play there's nothing wrong with
irrelevant.
unlockables.
You could still unlock them.
I don't care if you
You
put Darth Vader as an unlockable, where after I beat the campaign, I get to play as Darth Vader, or I get I do whatever achievement and I unlock Darth Vader. But playing for 40 hours, like a lot of the comments I'm seeing are like Star Wars fans around our age or a little bit older than us who are like they want to play with their kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't have the time and money to sit
So
down
let me
and
ask you
pay
this.
or play this much time.
Where's the perfect amount of time then? Like, where do you make it so getting Darth Vader is an actual achievement as opposed to where's getting Darth Vader is like a waste of time?
Well,
what's that number?
The thing
then?
is, that's not
sure. There is that number, and I don't know what it is, but it's a hell of a lot shorter than 40 hours.
Because if you're like, oh, this special character Darth Vader, I unlocked him in half an hour. Cool, look at me.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. Not half an hour.
How about this? The amount of time that someone would play on average per day before they release the next game in 2 years.
Right.
I feel like that would be like a pretty good. If you played 2 hours, say 2 hours 3 times a week.
I'm talking about just for one character.
Game companies have had
Right,
no
but you see what I'm
problem
getting
figuring
at.
this out in the
That should be the
past.
completion.
Yeah.
You should be able to complete the game before the next game comes out.
I agree.
And they're releasing one every 2 years right now.
If you're having to like manufacture a feeling of achievement in the game by just sheer man hours, doesn't that just mean it's a bad game? Like, shouldn't you?
Right. Yeah. I don't want
to.
to grind all day at work and then go home and grind all day in a game.
I guess you're not a real fan, Sean.
I guess I'm not.
Well, even coming from someone who I actually enjoy the grind at some level, right?
Sure.
I
To some level, yeah.
I played a lot of the Battlefields over the years. I really enjoyed us unlocking classes and abilities. But what the problem with microtransactions have caused is that now, instead of people just unlocking, they can get a free pass. Well, not free.
Right.
They can pay for it, get better. I mean, it's stupid to do it. You're putting so much money into a game to get an advantage over something that's not really that important.
Right.
But it means that everyone else is stuck in the back.
So let me ask you this, Sean and Ike, both players that have played through Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Yeah.
How many hours have you put into that?
I think I'm like right at 70.
Yeah, I think I'm around 50.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you unlocked everything?
I've unlocked everything that alters the game in some way.
Yeah, that's not really what we're talking about.
I'm saying
I'm fine with unlockables. Like there's
I'm saying
like 600 and something
you
Korok
put
seeds
you put
in, that game.
in those hours for what reason?
For entertainment.
Okay.
I think the better analogy here would be if you had to pay a premium to unlock the Master Sword in Breath of the Wild.
If you had
that would be like the same thing.
Could, you mean?
Or you have to play for 60 hours
right,
to unlock the Master Sword.
I found the Master Sword within 4 hours. Like it's not like it didn't take that long.
Which is
and
a grind.
And it was satisfying to be like, all right, yeah, my character has earned this, and now I'm there. I don't want it to be.
Well, now it make me feel like a slow kid because I still haven't found the Master Sword. I played way more than 4 hours.
You
gotta find. I don't want to tell you where it's at. It's out there, dude.
I was at my house when I found it.
Did Modern Warfare 2 have microtransactions?
I think the first game to have it would be it was like one of the Black Ops. Not Black Ops. It was Advanced Warfare.
Okay. So Modern Warfare 2
was the last COD.
You could play that game for hours and hours and hours and hours,
right?
And still unlock stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean you had to go through like 10 prestiges to get to max prestige.
Right.
Right, but these are things. There's.
But you're not unlocking game-breaking stuff.
Right, you're not unlocking things that give you this incredible advantage.
Right.
Or something that was almost guaranteed with the game.
Right.
Like to have to play the guns and the classes are one thing, but to play 40 hours for a character that you've been marketing all this time as included in the game, which has always been included in the game, is weird. You know?
Right. Well, here's an immediate pushback. Battlefront 2 in 2002, whenever it came out.
Right.
The old one. Yeah. You
perfect game.
You spent $60 and everything was there. Cool. Done.
Yeah. Exactly.
No DLC. It was an incredible game. Me and Brendan, we've been playing that on lunch at, like
on
6
the
months
PC,
ago.
baby.
Yeah, we've been playing that on PC.
And I'd rather play that now than the new one.
Right.
How long did it take to unlock stuff on that game? Just curious.
I think literally everything was there.
Yeah.
I
There
think
was
you unlocked
unlocked
players by.
And I
doing
still
good.
was highly satisfied in playing the game.
Right.
Here's another one. Revenge of the Sith on the PS2.
Great game.
One of my favorite Star Wars games. And there are things like that where if you play through the campaign and you beat the single player campaign, then you unlock Darth Vader. You unlock I can't remember, I may be wrong about this, but maybe even Sidious that you can play as.
It took you what, 4 hours, maybe tops?
Maybe a little longer,
Yeah.
closer to 10 hours maybe to beat the campaign. But
Right.
you still had this sense of accomplishment that EA is talking about. But it's like, you
Right.
buy the game. I didn't have to pay money to unlock those characters, and I didn't have to quit my day job to unlock them.
What do you
either.
think they're doing this because more games are doing this?
Why I think
Absolutely.
they're doing this is because, one, because of money, and two, there's rumors EA obviously also owns EA Sports. And
EA Sports. It's in the game.
right, except it's not in the game anymore. You got to pay for it.
Oh!
Got 'em.
Dang.
With their FIFA games, obviously sports games that come out every single year, they're now deciding they're on the verge of deciding that instead of releasing a game every year, they'll just have you pay like $30 or $40 for an update, which is a software update for the game that you already own. So every year you got to pay essentially $30 for new uniforms and a new squad. Is essentially it. Is what they're going to try to sell us now. Which is
a lot of times what they're doing anyway, though, with Madden, right? I mean,
a lot of times, yes.
Yeah, updated
But
rosters.
a lot of times it is. But with this game, with Star Wars Battlefront, I feel like they're going to do the same thing. Just iterate DLCs every now and then. And that's why it's going to take you 5 years to unlock everything, because they want you playing for 5 years so that when every year comes out, when you want to buy that new update, you'll do it because you're still playing the game. You're trying to unlock things.
But they also, they're not, these aren't developers that don't know where people are in the game. They have ways of knowing.
Right. All their data shows where they are.
They're just going to keep adding stuff that nobody will ever have everything.
Right. So there's people
because you keep people on the hook.
All
for
they
the next
need,
thing.
all they need is that 5% who's willing to keep throwing money down.
Right.
Because
No, I literally was reading on Reddit. Someone did the math that most of these companies can survive off 1% paying it. That they are well in the black with 1% of the players.
Right.
Paying for the $2,100 or whatever.
Yeah, and then other 99% will sometimes be like, you know what, I really
Right.
want this. I'll pay for it because I'm tired of this.
And what sucks is that really the only way for Star Wars fans who want something better from EA, all we can do is speak our mind with our wallet
Exactly,
and
vote
just
with
not
your
buy the
wallet.
game. But then you can't play this. What would have been a really cool game, and that just sucks for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I had set aside money to buy the game, and then after all this crap, I was like, well, not getting it. I mean,
Same.
my wallet was like, hey,
Yeah,
good job,
I'm
Brandon.
not, I was planning on buying it. I'm not now.
Not only am I not going to buy the game, I'm not going to buy a PS4 because of
Right.
this.
Again, hear that, Sony. I love people are with this. They're saying like tag Disney in it because Disney protects their property.
Yeah.
But before we stay on this for too long, let's move on to our next issue of news. Possibly biggest fans of Rian Johnson.
10 out of 10.
Ike Lacey, our resident Rian Johnson fan.
Thank you.
You got it.
oh, wait a minute.
a
Oh,
minute
wait.
to
He
get that.
has watched Brick. That's right. Because
I have watched Brick, yeah.
Again, Brick, fantastic movie, quality building material.
Especially in Fortnite.
Yeah. Well, it's middle of the road.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
average.
It's better than wood.
Rian Johnson is going
Yeah.
to direct a new Star Wars trilogy.
Count them 3.
Get hype.
Not one, not two, three
Three
Star Wars
movies.
movies.
We all had a fit when we heard this.
Yeah.
That's to say the
I think
least.
I got up and ran around the room.
We blew up, exploded.
I yelled in my wife's face, and she's like, "Cool,
What's going on?
Great.
Yeah,
Star Wars,
it's like,
more.
awesome.
I would have never expected.
I'm glad this hobby of yours that I'm totally okay with is going to continue." Just kidding.
I mean, I think we all knew it was coming, right? We just didn't know Ryan. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
'cause I think-
everybody's been speculating new trilogy because they specifically started calling it the Skywalker trilogy. I think we've even said that on the
We said that,
podcast.
we said that the other day, which
Yeah.
I was like, interesting. And
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't
Yeah.
notice it.
No.
Yeah, Skywalker. They've been kind of pointing that out, and now here we are. I think the big news for me here is Rian, man. I'm so excited for Rian.
Yeah, because I know when Episode 9 director came out, we were all like hoping it was going to be Rian, and it was JJ, and we were like, okay with that. And this explains why Rian either turned it down or they didn't give it to him because they had a whole other project for him.
Here's what excites me about all of it, is that in the midst of all these director woes with Lucasfilm, we know that they liked Rian Johnson's movie enough that they gave him a whole trilogy. So that makes me, for one thing, really excited about The Last Jedi. Not that I wasn't already, but it's like they liked Rian's movie so much, they gave him a whole trilogy. Yeah, so
exactly. It's so bold of them to do this before letting the fan base see The Last Jedi because they know it's going to be successful and they know people are going to love it.
Yeah. That I think that's what seemed to be the biggest response when I was reading down through the comments on Reddit is how excited people were for The Last. It's basically proof that Disney is enough behind it that it's going to be that good.
Right.
Which gets me so much hype. Count on 30 days from today.
30 days, yeah. And the press release says that Johnson will introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never before explored. Now that's super interesting to me. The word lore.
Lore, yeah.
Not Star Wars movies, not Star Wars movies and shows, but Star Wars lore. So this means it's going to be, in my opinion, my interpretation of this, it's just going to be something that we haven't seen in Legends before. We haven't seen in the extended universe. It's going to be a whole new thing, new characters. It's not going to be a playoff of Revan or the Old Republic or anything like that, which a lot of people are hoping for. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe it'll be set in a different time period, but it's not going to be those things. And I'm really excited to see just Rian let loose as a storyteller.
Yeah.
So I'm looking on the Star Wars website, and it's actually saying a little thing that's going to happen. The new trilogy. He said Ryan's going to go deeper into the Force Griffin theories that Brendan Bush has.
Oh, shoot!
So it's got me super excited for the trilogy.
Brendan's back.
Hey,
well, at least we
I was
have
gone
one
for 2
listener
weeks.
out there, Ryan. Ryan, shout out to Rian Johnson, our one listener that comes to listen for Brendan Bush.
Rian Johnson, appreciate you and who you are.
He's like, man, that Brennan guy's got some great
Please give
ideas.
me a job.
Yeah, he's like, I really need to introduce those in the new trilogy.
Suddenly, if that's what Ryan gets out of this podcast, I question what his motives are.
No, but yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? What's a little bit of speculation here? Where you guys think this could go? I think a lot of people, like you were saying, were thinking Old Republic, but I think that word lore specifically makes it seem like they're not going to go there.
Right, and I think with the new canon, almost everything that they're doing, one part of it somewhere connects to the unknown regions.
Yeah,
and so I think that word too, that from a corner of the galaxy. That Star Wars lore has never before explored. I think they have this. They see this whole unknown regions, and they're like, "Well, let's go make it known.
Right.
Let's go check it out."
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, I mean, with Thrawn and his thing with the unknown regions, the First Order starting out of the unknown unknown regions and everything like that.
Sidious was looking to the unknown regions because he was feeling something out there.
Yep. Thrawn, I think, had some interaction with Anakin around the unknown regions.
And around. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. It looks like we'll know in the next book. But
don't know, but yeah. I don't know.
Anybody else? What are your thoughts, Richie? You're taking a big inhale because you don't even know. We know none of us know, but let's hear it.
Yeah, I don't
Richie
know.
Knows. We know. Richie
I really don't know though.
Pump up the Canon Factory. Start pumping out some Canon. Let's hear what you got.
Well, this feels like too heavy on the speculation side, but
perfect.
I feel like if there's one character that sticks out right now to me in the current trilogy that has to do with like unknown regions, it would be Snoke.
Right.
That we might see. Maybe a little more about like his race or like what.
That's true. It doesn't say all new characters. It just says introduce new characters. So it doesn't.
And it doesn't clarify whether that's in the movies or in books because I think it'd be cool to see like a Thrawn movie, but they're doing books, so I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah. I think Thrawn's going to remain a show and book only character, and I'm a huge Thrawn fan. I would love a Thrawn trilogy.
I would be very surprised if they didn't tie it to the movies in some way. If they didn't.
You're saying just because of marketing, like a standpoint of marketing?
Or just because people will be like, well, what does this have to do with the other Star Wars? They just won't get it unless you
know, there may be something in The Last Jedi that Ryan sets up for himself.
Right, which I think we're going to learn a lot about the Force in the new one. And with the books and stuff like that are in the tree. So I think that Luke has learned a lot about the Force and is going to allude to a lot of the history. Yeah. And it'd be cool if we had like an Origin of the Jedi trilogy.
Well, I don't remember who I was watching doing like a trailer breakdown when the second trailer first came out, and they talked about how there could be clues in this to tie back to the Old Republic, and that's what the new trilogy could be based on, which I'd be a huge fan of.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if the unknown regions are unknown for a reason, because I mean, clearly it's a galaxy that is incredibly technologically advanced. So why hasn't anybody mapped it? Like, what's going on there?
They've just kind of alluded that there's like some there's some like hard navigation stuff through there.
Right. That's always what it always is, and it's kind of like, I don't know if I accept that.
Yeah.
So,
but it's also just a good storytelling thing. To be
right.
able to
It is.
yourself,
But I think maybe there's somebody in that unknown region making it unknown, keeping it that way.
Oh.
So somebody moving the asteroid belts and doing different things like that. Like maybe that's where the origin of the Force is.
Yeah, not to get like too wild here, but
I'll get as wild.
The way that you say that would make me think that whoever's outside of the known galaxy must be like more advanced. It's kind of the same thing as like if anything like if aliens like landed on Earth today, then we would know right away. Well, they're a more advanced civilization because they made it here first. So it's kind of the same sort of thing, like. If like in the Star Wars galaxy, the technology is not good enough for them to navigate outside of that galaxy.
You guys know who's out there, right?
The Chiss.
Earth.
Oh.
That's why we haven't been found by them.
You think so?
Yeah.
Could be.
Definitely.
All right, sorry, Richie. I
The final episode of Ryan's trilogy is just it's a completely augmented reality, and the Star Wars characters step out of the screen and, like, we found it, and they're in your movie theater.
I was gonna say
be that because it's a long time ago in the galaxy far, far away.
I was gonna say this is a long con by JJ to like they're gonna go way out in the unknown regions and they're gonna encounter a ship.
Captain Kirk.
See, now that
Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes.
I think
give me that movie.
The world would implode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like, I'm really intrigued because it's hard to even speculate about what the trilogy could be.
But that's not going to stop us.
Nope, it's not gonna. So, yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? We'll see what's going to happen. That's going to be a topic that we'll talk about for years to come, I'm guessing, because I wouldn't imagine this will start until we'll probably have The Last Jedi this year.
I would say the next Star Wars celebration, they'll say something.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have The Last Jedi this year. We'll have Solo next year. We'll have Episode 9 the year after that. We'll have an unannounced anthology film the year after that. And then we'll either have another anthology film or we'll have the start of the trilogy.
And you forgot the other big news that came out the same day.
Oh, I didn't forget.
That we were all freaking out about.
This one is as close to official as it can get.
Yeah,
it's
seems that way.
Star Wars themselves, like Lucasfilm themselves, have not issued a press release like they did with Rian Johnson, but it was said in the Disney shareholders meeting with Bob Iger that
the CEO of Disney,
the CEO, sorry, that there's going to be a Star Wars live action TV show as well, and that's going to be coming in 2019 with the launch of Disney's streaming program.
Yeah,
I am stoked.
Get that on Netflix, dog.
Did they say who's in the series yet?
Like as far as characters are concerned, they've said nothing. So that's another show that we don't know what's going to happen. I'm thinking that might be another way that they might tie into the Ryan's trilogy. Might be able to show a little bit more of what's happening in
that's a good idea.
That time period.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me the only thing that I'm kind of hesitant about is what kind of budget they're going to have to pull. I think that's why they've been hesitant so far. To do any type of live action is because the budget would have to be high for CGI.
Right, because it's got to match the Star Wars aesthetic.
Yeah, so it's got to match the Star Wars aesthetic, and that costs a lot of money to set up sets and alien races that you got to be able to pull in and make them look legit without paying an arm and a leg.
Right.
You know.
But then you have Netflix drop $8 billion in a year.
On so yeah, I think it's becoming,
IP. So
I think it's definitely becoming more acceptable in the media realm to spend that much money on a TV show because. TV show. We're in like a golden era of TV show.
Right.
Well, I mean, what's the new Seth MacFarlane one?
There's a Star Trek one. It's like a Star Trek knockoff. It's like a comic.
I mean, but they have people dressing up in makeup like that. You think that costs that much money?
Yeah. Well, I think it would be difficult to make it look well for Star Wars.
Right. Because go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, they've been doing live action Star Treks since like the 70s.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and I think it was like late 60s is when it started. And they did okay, but like, I don't know. Even like when we watch, I feel like when we watch like modern day, like the Marvel stuff on Netflix, that's a Netflix original. There's times where you're like, you can tell they're up against a green screen or like it's not perfect. Right. Maybe not for everybody that has like a CGI eye. I feel like millennials could mostly tell like, like it doesn't like take me out of the world, but I can see what they're doing here, like behind the magic, you know. So I'm wondering. how they're going to pull that off to make the Star Wars
like
world
with shows like Game of Thrones pulling off those dragons and the way that they do.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Shows it shows how much it costs because they'll use them as sparingly as possible and they'll eliminate other CGI elements. Yeah. But it shows that it can be done.
So you think this is going to have more practical effects than?
Well, I think that's the way that they've established the new trilogy as a whole anyway, because The Force Awakens had a massive amount of practical effects, and the way Ryan is, it'll be the same way with the last.
So Rogue One as well had a lot of practical
Rogue One, yes.
Well, then that being said, do you think it's going to be like a city that they stay in primarily, like how in Rebels they stay mostly in the fall?
Right.
Could be.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's where I'm trying to get at. Well, like that kind of for my train of thought is like it would be hard to have some sort of alien lead,
right?
Because of the amount of money it would take.
Right. And it would be hard to stay on one planet because one thing that Star Wars always tries to avoid is small galaxy syndrome. Right. They always try to show how large and how sprawling it is.
Yeah, so I'm interested how they're going to circumvent some of these things. But they're smart, and they do have a lot of money.
I mean, in Clone Wars, they stayed in like the same 3 or 4 planets primarily throughout the entire show.
Right.
So
it's doable.
There was like
you can make those eyes, Matt, but there's a lot of time they spent on Coruscant.
Yeah, a lot of time on Coruscant where they use basically the same textures and so on.
And a lot of time on Mandalore. So, Matt,
you look like you have something to say, Matt.
Come on, Matt.
I'm not gonna do
you
it.
and that hideous sweatshirt you're wearing today.
I'm not gonna
Matt
do
is
it,
wearing
Brad.
a Panthers shirt. If anyone's interested,
Matt,
I'm not gonna do it, Brennan.
Talk.
Come on, Matt.
Go in on them.
There are a lot of planets
I'm not disagreeing with you.
in the show.
I know there are. I'm saying primarily though, they stayed to a couple of them.
Matt has become this.
Well,
this
I would say
livid
that there's
personality.
parts that you're both right because when they did go to another planet, they were there for a while. It would be arcs that they would be at the same planet.
Right.
So you think they'll do that in the TV show?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to say. I'm just
like
saying,
one season having a specific arc, and then
Right.
somehow tying it to a next season with
Maybe.
a different arc.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I think it's going to be difficult for them to do a lot of alien races, and I think it's going to be difficult for them to be a lot of different planets. Now they could do it. They just how that plays out. I think they're going to have to be careful with, and I think that there's just some limitations that they're going to place on the show as a result. But I don't think that means it's going to be bad.
Right.
It's just going to be different.
I don't think they would do it if they weren't willing to spend a lot of money on it. And I think there are a couple of reasons for that. One of them is that I think Netflix is probably making more than a lot of movie theaters right now. Like,
Right.
I mean,
I agree.
That's where the money's at in the market.
Right. So maybe they're even anticipating that theater sales are not going to, continue. Maybe they're trying to get ahead of the curve even.
Which also brings up the next question: do you think they're going to do an all episode dump, or do you think they're going to do like a weekly release?
I think they'll do an all episode dump.
Yeah, that's the way to do it now.
I don't know. It's not. I mean, Game of Thrones doesn't do all episode dump.
Basically, outside of HBO, it's
Right.
pretty much
Yeah,
Right.
but even then,
HBO is technically cable TV though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does have a streaming service, but it is technically cable TV.
Yeah, I mean, I watch Game of Thrones on streaming service.
Right.
So I just wait for them all to come out, and then they're all there.
But also, like, you also got to remember that Disney is kind of behind on the times in this, so I think they might just play it safe and do one, try to build anticipation instead
I
of
think
just
it's hard to
dumping
say.
like
I mean,
Netflix does.
Disney, although behind the times, they are pushing forward in an area that no one's ever gone before.
Right.
And what I mean by that is a major, network that is building their own streaming service they're comparing to Netflix.
It's gonna
There's
surpass
been
Netflix.
it's gonna be there's stuff out there
You
like
really
HBO.
think so?
Yes.
There's stuff out there like HBO, right?
Why?
Disney, dude, they own everything. They own 20th Century Fox.
Well, they're in the process of purchasing
No, they
20th Century
don't.
Fox.
They're in the process. They don't.
They
own it.
basically own 20th
Right.
Century
That's my point, though.
They own
once they
They
own
have
20th
more
Century
money
Fox,
than anybody.
they own ESPN, so they're gonna have a streaming service that
Which
I
ESPN is
guarantee you,
dying.
which is why they're gonna put their
ESPN
on their
cable
streaming
is
service.
not dying. Or on cable is dying. On streaming,
It's flying.
it's doing great.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is there's no network station like Comcast or ABC or anything like that has all they've done is put their shows after they air on a streaming service. They haven't fully invested into streaming. They've just allowed a little bit of wiggle room for streaming.
and you have to have a cable subscription to be able to watch it.
So we're seeing something pretty unprecedented here, in my opinion, that there is going to be a quote unquote cable network service that is going full in on streaming hard.
Right.
To
Doesn't
try to
Netflix
build a
already do-
Netflix level system.
I say, isn't Netflix already doing that though?
Right. No. Yeah.
They started by using other people's content, but now they're going into creating their own.
They're not a cable company. Exactly. Like
they're
Netflix. Netflix isn't going to have live TV.
So you think Disney's going to be a cable company then?
Well,
Disney is a cable company.
Disney owns ABC. Disney owns ESPN.
Yeah,
ESPN.
So they can have ABC News. They can have ESPN Sports Streams. They can have all this live content without purchasing anything.
So you think if they do that? I mean, I know they talked about removing all of their superhero stuff and Star Wars stuff off of Netflix.
That'll all go to Netflix.
Do you think they'll take all their ABC shows, all the ESPN?
I don't see why they wouldn't.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's their content.
If they're smart, they will.
Yeah.
So the thing
is, they are.
I mean, you're sort of right, Brandon. They're doing the same thing that Netflix is doing, but they're doing it from the other direction.
Right.
Netflix is coming in as a provider and going to try to
Netflix
make content.
is just a production company now because they're just most of their content is their own created content.
That'll be the real struggle with Disney is their streaming service good?
Like,
is the quality
better
of
content than Netflix?
Not even the content. I mean, I think they'll be fine with content. I think it'll be can they match the quality of Netflix's streaming? Because for one thing, like Amazon Prime is cool with content. Their streaming is not the best, especially on their web app. It's just kind of choppy, and so the question is going to be because Disney's expertise is not in streaming stuff. It's in making movies.
Expertise is in life.
Right. So yeah, sure. Yeah. Theoretically, they can hire some good people who can figure it out. But I think that is going to be the bigger challenge: is can they build the technology to stream? Whereas Netflix's challenge is can they keep up with creating content that competes with Disney's content?
I mean, I think we're going to see something shift interestingly in the next 5 years with these cable companies diving in, going full in on streaming, and Netflix is over here going, got to raise my prices. They're raising their
but you also got to realize that
time in the past.
The battle for cable company is in net neutrality.
Yes.
If Comcast and companies like that can lock
Shout
down,
out, call your
call your local representatives to fight against net neutrality.
Yes.
See, but the thing is, with ESPN, this is what I know most about. Most of their sports contracts are coming to an end. They're going to be done within the next 5 years.
Right.
And I don't think they're going to be able to hold on to any of those sports with Amazon, with Hulu, with Netflix, maybe Twitter, maybe YouTube, like trying to get in on those deals. Each major sports organization is going to have so many suitors. I don't think ESPN's going to have that kind of pull that they have now. They're laying off people like pretty much every month. They're doing 100 people they're laying off, mostly on-air talent.
And Fox Sports is hiring a lot of them.
And that's not a good sign.
I think it's a good sign. Not for ESPN, but for us.
For us.
Well, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think what's going to yes, they're going to have their Disney content and things like that. But I mean, I'm paying for Hulu and Netflix. Why would I want to switch over? Why would I want to pay for one more thing for ESPN?
They're going to convince you to drop Hulu or drop Netflix in favor of the other one.
Or buy them all.
Yeah, that's the thing. Each cable company, once cable dies, each cable company is going to release their own streaming service with all of their own content, and you're going to have to spend $10 per company, and it's going to just be like the same thing as buying your own cable packages.
Yep. I think a lot of them will make agreements with each other. It just makes sense. I mean...
Yeah. But long story short...
Yeah,
we're getting a lot of Star Wars content, guys.
It's a Star Wars podcast over here.
Hey, no, it's relevant.
It's absolutely relevant, but
this shows whether we're diverse in our
it's just interesting to see where Star Wars and other content that we enjoy is going to be available and how often it's going to be available.
Yeah, I mean, without analyzing where the entertainment business is heading, it's hard to say where Star Wars is heading. So it's kind of important to talk about.
No, absolutely. I'm not saying it's not. But yeah, that's pretty much what we have time for, though. So guys, I just want to thank you for joining us, for listening to our rants and our rambles and our thorough entertainment conversations and this incredible journey and period we have to live in with Star Wars. It's a real golden age of Star Wars, and it's crazy to think that we get a new movie every year. Now we're gonna get a live action TV show. We're gonna get more animated TV shows too, and we're just happy we get to enjoy it with you guys too. So remember to tweet at us. Look out for our comments on YouTube or any of our tweets. Just make sure to come on and talk to us. We'd love to talk to you guys. We have a Discord now, so if you guys want to talk to us on Discord as well, we'll be sure to hop on there every now and then. But as always, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next time.